This video is sponsored by Squarespace, more on that later. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to an experiment. I don't know if you remember, a while ago I did my seasonal closet switch around where I put away all of my winter clothes and pulled out my spring stuff. I also did a bit of decluttering, and in that video I was really indecisive about my stinky blouses. I have several of these blouses from fast fashion stores that I bought many years ago. I think it must be close to 10 years ago now that I got these, and I absolutely adore these. I love everything about them aside from the fact that they are polyester. Let's see, yeah, this one is 100% polyester and it gets so smelly, or I get smelly in it, but also the blouse itself. It's just, polyester. It is not a good fabric to wear on a human body. It's plastic. So I decided that I wanted to remake these blouses in a more body-friendly material. I received lots of tips on that video for materials that I could look for, have similar properties to this very typical blouse polyester. In the end, I decided that the best option for me, considering price, availability, and fabric properties, would be viscose. So I got myself 3 colors of viscose. First of all, I have a white. It is a little bit less see-through than the polyester. It is at the same time thinner and less see-through. It's a different fabric, but I think this is absolutely lovely. It may wrinkle a little bit faster than this, like this does not wrinkle ever, but I still think it should be fairly wrinkle-free. I like the way it drapes. I think this would be a good replacement, so I got a white. I got the exact same material in a cream, and then I got this like mauve color, which was described online as a dusty rose. It's not, it's a mauve, which is a color of much debate since I uploaded my color analysis video, because I really like this color on myself. Most other people don't, apparently. So, you know, I don't care. I'm gonna wear this lovely mauve. What I want to do is honestly just make 3 of this exact blouse, because everything about this is perfect. I love the fit. This is where the experimentation starts though. This is a fairly complicated garment. It consists of many different parts. It has a collar, it has a little collar attachment thing, it has a panel on the top back, it has a button placket cover thing, it has cuffs with buttons. There's a lot to this, and I don't think I will be able to copy this by just laying it down and tracing the pieces. I think for the first time, this one I have to take apart and use all of the individual pattern pieces as my pattern pieces, and then hope and pray that I can assemble it back together again, because that's the bit I'm nervous about. I can take this apart, no problem. I can copy the pieces, still no problem. Reassembling it, that's what's going to be difficult. So what I'm going to do is, as I take this apart, every single seam that I disassemble, I'm going to photograph and note, and hopefully make myself like a guide or instruction that way. Wish me luck, guys. This is potentially one of the most complicated things I have ever attempted to do. Let's just get started. Before we move on with sewing, I wanted to give a huge thank you to today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that allows you to build a beautiful online presence through building a website or a web store or an online portfolio. And it is so simple to build a beautiful website through Squarespace. Even if you're a complete beginner, all you have to do is go to their website, pick out a template that you like, and then you can start customizing. You can customize every single thing about this template, from the images you use, the colors, the graphics that appear or don't appear, menus, links, galleries, schedules, everything that you could need to run your business or just present yourself online, you can do through Squarespace. My personal favorite function are the section templates. So for each kind of thing you want represented on your website, they have templates that you can use that give suggestions as to what that could look like. And those are a really great place to start making a website that is heavily customized, but still you have a place to start from, so you're not just going in blank. Squarespace sells domains as well, so even that you can customize through them. So I definitely recommend checking them out if you are looking to build a website in the near future. So what you can do is head to squarespace.com, start your free trial, build a website, and once you are ready to launch, you can go to squarespace.com/loopsy to save 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain. So I will have links to all of that in the description box below. Definitely be sure to check that out. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. And now let's get back to sewing. After what felt like forever, all of the pattern pieces are taken apart. I have every single bit of that blouse here, all of the individual pieces. I have marked them. I have taken notes where necessary. I don't know if I'm ready. I honestly don't know. What I do know is that we need to move on. I have front panels here. Everything is ironed so they are as flat as possible, and now I just need to transfer them onto my new fabric. So I'm thinking, out of these three, I probably don't want to do the exact same blouse 3 times. As much as I love this, I feel like that's maybe a little bit of a shame or a waste. So I'm gonna start with the cream fabric first, because that's the closest actually to what it used to be. And then I'm thinking for the other two, I might change the front of the blouse. So I'll probably keep the sleeves and the back and everything, but for the front I have that pattern. I have those Dickie patterns that I use to make my faux collars with, and I think if I were to use some of those, maybe I would have a little bit more variation and have 3 different ones. Replica first. So I'm gonna go ahead, lay down my fabric, lay my pattern pieces on top, and start cutting everything out. This is taking a long time. We're slowly but surely getting there. Let's keep moving. All my pieces are cut out and I'm ready to start assembly, and there is one thing I want to do differently from the original, and that is that I want to do French seams wherever possible. I don't have a serger. All of the seams were serged, obviously. This was a fast fashion item. French seams are beautiful and very sturdy, so I want to do those. You know, just thought I'd make this extra complicated for myself, because why not? I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of how this thing works, at least the basics. Maybe the collar and the cuffs will be a bit of a struggle, but we'll get there once we get there. First, I'm gonna start by assembling the back, so I'm here just attaching the yoke to the back. After I have done the back, I think I'm gonna attach the front at the shoulders and probably leave all the folding, because the fronts of this, that's gonna be one of the more complicated things. I wish I'd shown you this better before we started, but the button placket is covered with a button placket cover. It folds up like this to form the buttonhole placket, and then there's another bit that falls over that, also folds up, and that is the button placket cover, so when you're wearing this you can't see the buttons. At first I wasn't going to do this, but then I found out that it's all made out of one piece of fabric, which actually makes it simpler. I thought it would be really complicated, but yeah, it's all just one piece, so I think I can do this. So I'm going to attach the front to the back and then possibly attach the arms at the shoulder as well. I also noticed that the sleeves in this garment were attached in the way where you attach the arm first and then sew the side seam with the arm in one go. I tend to often do the side seam first and then attach the shoulder at the arm side, but this one is sewn through the side and then on to the arm like that. Then I will have my basic garment, and then I'll probably start fiddling with the details, but at least I will feel like I have made some progress. Let me tell you, setting a sleeve with a French seam is not fun. I also just realized something that I didn't really consider until now. My final result isn't gonna be made as well as the blouse that I disassembled, simply because, if only because, the person who made that blouse, horribly enough, probably made hundreds, if not thousands of them, and knew exactly what they were doing. I don't so much know what I'm doing, and I'm just not that skilled of a seamstress, obviously, as a professional. So it's probably, the end result is probably gonna be not as good, but at least I can make infinite numbers of them. I'm gonna keep going and we'll see where I land. So I have attached one of the sleeves. It is open on the bottom, as I explained. We're gonna close that up when I do the side seam. I started working on the details and I was actually about to attach my collar when I realized that I can't attach the collar until I've done all the complicated foldy bits down the front, like with the whole button situation. So I think what I need to do next is work on that. These are actually one of the few things I did mark on my pattern pieces before I ironed out the folds. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't lose their positioning. I feel like I'm doing all right so far. It's going pretty well. I love my collar. I think that one turned out great. Okay, I have my new garment here and my old garment here, and I'm just gonna copy this fold pattern exactly as it is. Yeah, gonna start by folding under 1 centimeter here. Another fold. This one is an off size, about 2.5 centimeters. So that's in, then we fold out in the opposite direction. I think that's gonna be 2.5 again. Now I need to flip this around like that. And oh, actually I think I can just fold this over now using the width of what is already folded, because that's the right size. So I can just do this and make my life easier. Yeah, definitely going again. The last thing I thought was a fold is actually a seam, so we're definitely not gonna fold anymore, we're gonna stitch. The collar is in, the button plackets are in, with even the button placket cover. I'm pretty proud of myself so far. I think it's going pretty well. There are a couple of things though that I'm noticing now. First of all, I used interfacing on the collar and I forgot to use interfacing on my bottom plackets, which is bad, but fingers crossed it turns out all right. The fabric is so see-through that the bits with the interfacing turn out a different color. They are a bit brighter white than the non-interfaced parts. Maybe it's not super noticeable at first glance, but yeah, there is definitely a difference in color there. I also wish when I was taking apart the original garment that I had made some markings, like notches, pretty much just notches. Markings that would tell me which part attaches where exactly. When I was doing the sleeves, I wasn't entirely sure I was attaching them the right way around, like that I attached the right sleeve to the right side, and vice versa. And there were some other bits like attaching the collar itself. I would have loved to have some guidance there as to which parts go together. If you plan on recreating a garment that you have, just make notches. It makes the whole thing a lot easier. We are almost there actually. We're getting really close to the finish line here. I think next up I'm gonna work on the cuffs, the sleeve cuffs, and after that it's just the hem and attaching the actual buttons, making the buttonholes. I'm just gonna reuse the buttons from the original. I am very glad I'm doing French seams though, because the inside looks fantastic. It's very clean. Cuffs are attached on both sleeves. There we go. Looking good. I did make a mistake, or actually I completely missed a step somewhere. I forgot to close up the sides. I should have done that probably before I attached the other side. Anyway, the sides are open, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and whip stitch those just by hand so that they close. But it looks good and I'm very happy with it. The last thing I need to do is to do the hem, and it's just a thin rolled hem, and then I can go ahead and make the buttons and buttonholes. The blouse is finished and I have some thoughts. This went differently than I expected. Somehow, I feel like it is tighter than the original, which was not exactly what I was going for. I definitely didn't sew it as nicely as it was sewn originally. I haven't gotten to the point yet where my clothes don't look homemade, and I can tell everything that is wrong about it. However, I don't think if you would see me walking down the street you would think there's anything weird about my blouse. And it is actually pretty close to the blouse that I started out with. I am quite happy that I was able to make the button placket cover here. I do think that that just adds a little bit of elegance and something that sets this blouse apart from your regular blouse. I do feel like the back and the collar look really good, aside from the fact that it's a different color from the rest of the blouse. But yeah, some weird things did happen here. It is a little tight. If I pull my arms back, it does the little gapey thing, which we all hate. And it just feels a little bit tight around my back as well, and I don't remember the original one doing that. I am also still not convinced that I didn't set my sleeves backwards. Yeah, should have done notches. Another thing that happened, and I think this may have to do with why it's so tight as well, something went wrong either in copying or assembling this side of the bottom, and it may have happened when I folded all of these bits for the button placket, but if I point you down a little, you will see that the sides are asymmetrical. It just... what? It is so asymmetrical. And also, as you can tell, the button placket kind of veers off to this side, so this is just narrower than this. And I don't know how that happened. I have a theory, which is that maybe I should have transferred my pattern pieces onto paper first and used the paper pieces to cut the pieces out of my new fabric, because I think when I laid the cut up pieces onto my new fabric, I may have stretched them in bits, cut them out in the stretched out shape, which may have done this. Honestly guys, most of the time I wear this tucked into things. I rarely wear blouses with the bottom out anyway, so that shouldn't be too big of a problem. I can just go ahead, shorten it so that it doesn't sit on my hips as much. Worn like this, I do actually really like it. I think it's a very nice basic blouse. Yeah, I like the shape of it. Obviously I love the original, so given that this is a pretty close approximation to that, I do really like it. Given how long this took me, I spent the entire work week just making this one blouse. I definitely won't be able to do the other two in this video, but at least that gives me a chance to really reconsider my pattern shapes and everything I did, and try to do it a little bit differently next time, a little bit better. Oh, by the way, I did consider the width of the seam allowance when I did my French seams, and I think I may have taken off a little bit more than was in the original, but not a lot, so that may account for some of the tightness. I think that the tiny little things just piled on to create a garment that's just slightly tighter than the original. Yeah, I will spend a little bit more time perfecting this before I go ahead and make my other two blouses that I was gonna make, so I will get to that another time. For now, I am gonna end the video here, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I learned so much from this, just taking apart that garment and trying to copy it. It really taught me a lot about garment construction and details and certain techniques that I hadn't tried this way myself yet, so that was really, really useful, and definitely something I would recommend trying if you are, you know, somewhat towards the beginning of your sewing journey. You can learn a lot by doing this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see all the other things I am up to. Don't forget to check out Squarespace through the link in the description box. There is another video here that I think you might also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!